Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today we're going to talk about the fastest start for Season 25. At the time of recording, guys, we still don't have a date. I'm thinking it's going to be the 10th of December because we do know that Season 24 is going to be finishing up early December time. Now, it might well be the 17th of December. God hope that it's not after Christmas. That would really, really suck. But yeah, hopefully speaking, it is the 10th. We're going to talk about the starting sets, the Hadrig's gifts. We're going to talk about how easy it is to set up builds, how powerful these builds are, how powerful the meta options are, how easy the meta options are. Go through the 2 pieces, the 4 pieces, 6 pieces, talk about some blood shard items that you can get, just kind of like a general guide really on, solo casual play. What should you be starting? Obviously, if you're starting in a group, this would be completely different. You just want to make yourself a group comp. You can go for support characters, all that sort of stuff. But before we do jump in and go through this in a bit of detail, as always, a thumbs up brightens my day. Do subscribe if you're interested in Season 25. We're going to be smashing the guides out just as soon as we can once the season actually starts. Right, now, starting us off in last, and this really does hurt me, it is going to be the Necromancer. So the Necro is going to get the Grace of Inarius as the starting set. Now, the 2-piece bone armor damage is increased by 1,000. That is rubbish. The 4-piece is equally rubbish. Bone armor grants additional 3% damage reduction. So the bone armor damage is so little. You get some damage reduction on the 4-piece. Not great. Not really very helpful. But when you do get to the 6-piece, you get this 10,000 flat damage modifier. Now, the way Inarius works is it's a close range set. You've got your Bone Storm that goes round, you tag with that, and then you deal 10,000%. So it's kind of like a nice flat modifier. Now, leveling a Necro is super easy because you will take Corpse Explosion. You're going to basically have, the Grasp of Essence gloves, highly likely whilst leveling. They pair really well with the Inarius set. The modifiers are very easy to get for Inarius. You can get a Nair's Black Death in the cube. You can get a Riley in a Shadow Hook. You can get a Tragul's Corroded Fang. You can get the Jest of the set. All in all, straight out of the gate, the Necro is actually really powerful and really fast because we can level it quickly. Once we do get Inarius, it's very easy to pick up modifiers. The real downside with Necro, and the reason I've given it the 7th start, is just simply because I don't think the meta options for this are particularly good. I'm not entirely convinced that Rathma is going to be very good for T16, for bounties, for GR speeds. And then after that, I'd say most of your options, you can run an Inarius Corpse Explosion, but you've also got to think about Legacy of Dreams, and that does take a while to power up. So ultimately, the only reason we're giving Necro 7th is just because I think overall the power for solo speed farming, for blasting out those hundreds ASAP, I just don't think it's there. I think it's probably the weakest class for solo casual play at the moment, which does annoy me because it is my favorite. Inarius, it's pretty solid. There's no complaints with it. You'll be able to get your season journey done with it, absolutely no problem. It is pretty easy to build. If you just want to play for the opening weekend or the opening couple of weeks and bash that out, then it's not a bad choice. But in terms of making the most progress in the first week or two, I wouldn't do Necro. The only thing that I can say again, from a group point of view, Xenak is going to be quite popular next season. I'm not sure many people will be starting Necro, so that could be something that you could jump all over and get yourself on. Now, in 6th, I've actually gone for the Crusader. This is not a set that I'm particularly fond of, and it is the Crown of the Invoker. On the 2-piece, we get a AoE Thorns, so Thorns now hits all enemies within 15 yards, and whenever we hit with a punish, slash, or block an attack, our Thorns is increased by 90% for 2 seconds. Can stack up to 10 times, so pretty decent 2-piece. All of your Invoker rolls Thorns as a secondary, so you will kind of beef up your Thorns. Incidentally, the way the Soul Shards are going to work, you're going to get any kind of Thorns in your weapon pretty easily. You just have to collect up the Embers to upgrade. On the 4-piece, you get 50% damage reduction for 20 seconds after damaging an enemy with bombardment. I don't think that's very useful, really, until you get the Belt of the Trove. This is a blood shard spend, so it's not that expensive to get, but do bear in mind belts can be fiddly because there's just so many of them. On the 6-piece, we get huge attack speed to punish and slash, and as well as gigantic thorns damage to the first enemy hit. In terms of the set, it's kind of nice because it works pretty much with anything. You can do the Norvald set, which is fairly easy to get because two-handed flails are super easy to come by. The shield of the steed is quite easy to come by. There's not that many shields. In the pool, it's bloodshot spend, I guess is what I'm saying. You can do Aquila Cuirass, you can do the Spider Shield. There's nothing really that you specifically need. You've got the Thorns all over the Invoker set, and you're just going to look for items that support it. So in that regard, it is kind of flexible. I don't think it's very good for keys. I don't think it's very good for bounties. It's not very good for much except for pushing. But when you do build into the meta options for the Crusader, you're either going to be doing the Thorns bomb, so that a Khan and Invoker, so you will have some of the Invoker pieces, which is nice, or you'll be looking to put Aegis of Valor together, so the Holy Lightning Fist of the Heavens Fury type Crusader, which is just really strong. So ultimately, I think probably the reason Crusader's getting sixth is because it's just got a lot more power than the Necro. Now, whilst you're leveling, you can get modifiers. You roll shields. You can get either the Sweep Attack Shield, or you can get the Blessed Hammer Shield. You can get braces that pair with the Blessed Hammers if you're lucky enough to get that. So no problems leveling the Crusader, but definitely a lot slower than Necro. But I just think that it's because you don't need anything. You don't really need any upgrades to get the Invoker going, and then you can jump off and go on to something else. And as I said, I just think overall end gamey type meta, I think Crusader, you're gonna get Paragon faster. You're gonna make more progress picking Crusader over Necro for sure. Now, moving us into fifth, we've got the Barbarian. Barbarian is going to get the Might of the Earth set. One of my favourite sets in the game. Really do like Leapquake, I do like Slam. The 2-piece, we reduce the cooldown on Earthquake, Avalanche, Leap, Ground Stomp by 1 second for every 30 fury you spend with an attack. Pretty easy, so we can kind of leap around a lot, which is good. 4-piece, Leap causes an earthquake when you land. This is mega damage. In addition, you get the Iron Impact Rune, and the duration and effect of the rune are increased by up to 150%, which is obviously nice. Nice bit of toughness, nice bit of damage. So we've kind of got a very useful 2-piece, a very useful 4-piece, and then on the 6-piece we get this gigantic 20k damage on Earthquake, Avalanche, Leap, Ground Stomp, Ancient Spear, and Seismic Slam. So this is very easy to put together, a basic Slam Barb. You can get the Braces of Destruction in the level 1 loot pool. Huge modifier, which is nice, and then 2-handed Mighty Weapon, Fury of the Vanished Peak. Again, there's not that many of these in the loot pool, so this will come together very quickly. Now, Barb always has got a really good time of things because it can get the Band of Mice in the level 1 loot pool. 80% damage reduction paired with the 4-piece of the Mice of the Earth is absolutely crazy. You will be super tanky. It's not going to be Barb's meta option. I do like Slam for keys. It is something you can get set up and it can be a lot of fun, but Whirlwind is just going to be much easier, so you are going to look to transition off onto the Wrath of the Waste. The Leapquake is pretty much a push build, but again, you can get the loot socks which go with that pretty easily in the level 1 loot pool. As for leveling a Barb, you've got Bracer modifiers. You've got a good chance of getting something good with your upgrade. Not guaranteed like say a Necromancer is, but it's still fairly easy to level a Barb. Nothing wrong with it. Not particularly fast, but it's going to get the job done. And as I say, I think the 2, 4, and 6-piece for this make it pretty easy to build, which is pretty good. Obviously, again, if from a non-solo point of view, making a Barb will be phenomenal for you because there's going to be a real drive for people to get Z-Barbs in the group. So, if you fancy doing some blasting, a Barb is a pretty good choice. So moving us into fourth, we've gone for the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor is going to get the Jade set. A really unique set. I quite like it. It's probably a little underrated. I know some people really can't stand the playstyle. So, that's something you've got to bear in mind. It's a damage over time or a dot build. So the 2-piece, when you haunt an enemy that has already been haunted, it instantly deals 3,500 seconds worth of haunt damage. Great 2-piece. We love this. Lots of damage. 4-piece is also nice as well. Soul Harvest gains every rune. Cooldown reduction on Soul Harvest for 1 second every time you cast Haunt or Locust Swarm. So you're spamming out Haunt, you're getting Soul Harvest back very fast. All the bonus runes on that, which is cool. The 2-piece is doing you quite a decent amount of damage. And the 6-piece, Soul Harvest reduces damage taken by 50% for 12 seconds and also blows up your damage over time effects instantly, dealing a huge 10,000 seconds worth of damage. Now, it's quite a solid set. You don't really need terribly much to get it going. Obviously there are lots of different Witch Doctor items that will help, like a Wormwood. You can do Ring of Emptiness. There's various bits and bobs. It's not going to be meta for Witch Doctor. You're going to want to probably play Zuni or Legacy Dreams, Dagger of Darts, maybe Mundanugu. There's a lot of options, I think, for Witch Doctor for T16 viable builds, bounty builds, GR speeds, and some really great solo pushing options with Zuni Massa and with Arakir. And the fact that Witch Doctor is traditionally very quick class to level because you get the Gazing Demise, which is an offhand in the loot pool at level 1, which will really buff up your Spirit Barrage. You've got tons of pets, you've got tons of minions, you've got tons of damage over time effects, so it's quite easy to mask a bonus, curse chest level and that type of thing. So whilst Jade really isn't, an amazing set, it's probably quite easy to go off and gear into some meta stuff, because it just, if you put Zuni together first, you do Zuni. If you put Mundanugu first together, you go for Mundanugu. And you kind of build off there. And lots of the Witch Doctor items, the Lakumbas have been buffed. You've got a Sacred Harvester. They're usable across lots of the different builds. And then you're just looking for either your Dagger of Darts or you're looking for your Barber, in your main weapon, again, for Mundanugu or for Zuni Massa or whatever it is. So I think Witch Doctor's going to be pretty fast. I think we'll give that 4th. Moving into the top 3, this is Wizard. It's going to be Firebird. This is the Wizard's S tier set. So obviously from that point of view, it is fantastic to get your hands on this. It is pretty good. Now, the Firebirds is getting a rework. Now, we're going to have to sort of see where the power in this actually lies, whether it gets changed again. But on the 2-piece in general, you get a ignite damage, weapon damage per second. When you die, you also get a cheat death, so that's kind of cool. Disintegrate will do a decent amount of damage. We're going to have to see what this final figure on the weapon damage per second is. The 4-piece is brilliant. We get these combustion stacks that reduce the cooldown on teleport. These build up very fast, and then as well as getting 80% damage reduction, which is huge, you get infinite teleport, which will just make you so fast on your 4-piece, which is lovely. And then the 6-piece, you're going to get 5,000% or whatever the figure is when we get to live, for basically hitting again and blowing up your combustion stacks. It's a really, really cool, fun playstyle because it does, fire on the screen, zipping around with teleport, and it's not too hard to put together because, you don't really need terribly much, but an Orb of Infinite Depth you can get with Blood Shards. So this will make you pretty much immortal with 80% damage reduction, 80% damage reduction. A Fragment of Destiny to run Flame Blades would be kind of nice. But again, there's not terribly much that's needed to it, and you really can start crushing very early. You can get yourself a Blood Braces in the loot pool at level 1, which will help, again, give you a bit more shielding. So, you can run yourself for squirts, tons of damage reduction and a shield, and you'll be doubling your damage when you do pick one up. As I say, with this being S tier, you can just pretty much sit on this all season if you want. There will be faster key options, there will be faster bounty options, probably, but the infinite teleport is really nice. So I do think Wizard is a pretty good start. Not the best thing to level. The modifiers are not that easy to come by as you go through and level up a Wizard. It's a little bit kind of slower on that. But, once you start getting the Firebird's pieces, you will start rocking and rolling. And as I say, again, there's nothing like specifically that you need. So obviously really good. The only reason I've put this in 3rd, if we were ranking the starting sets, maybe this would be 2nd. Maybe it would be 1st. It would be difficult to say. But the other 2 classes classes above this, when you do get onto their meta options, both of which are very easy to set up, you will absolutely crush. So I guess that does bring us to second, which we're going to give to Monk. And this is mainly because of the power of Inner, which obviously isn't the starting set. The starting set is actually the Monkey King's Garb, so the Samwuku set. It's not great, the set, to be honest. You've got the 2-piece, which reduces damage reduction 50% while Sweeping Wind is active, no good. 4-piece is not very good either. Every second Sweeping Wind spawns a decoy and 1,000% weapon damage for each stack of Sweeping Wind. Again, not great. And then even the 6-piece actually is a little bit lackluster. Lashing Tail Kick, Tempest Rush, Wave of Light all get 1,500% extra damage for Sweeping Wind stacks. Now you're capped at 3 stacks until you find a Vengeful Wind. Fist weapons notoriously are a complete pain in the butt. It's probably the hardest weapon class to actually hit. But we do have things like the Crudest Boots, which are in the loot pool at level 1. Binding of the Lesser Gods. You're going to be looking for these pieces for Inner anyway. Pinto's Pride, buffs Wave of Light. This is in the loot pool for level 1. Incense Torch of the Grand Temple would be if you wanted Wave of Light. But you could also do Lashing Tail Kick. LTK boots are in the loot pool at level 1. You can try and build up Tempest Rush on Samwuku. It is quite powerful. So again, you do have 2 or 3. Well, you've got 3 things you can build off for this. So maybe you get lucky, maybe you find some stuff. But obviously the kicker here is the Vengeful Wind. Now, if we were just ranking the sets, it is a powerful set once you do get it going. It is quite fun. Wave of Light, Monk, Samwuku, Tempest Rush, all good stuff. The thing really is going to be setting up Inner. Inner doesn't need anything past the set. You will start crushing as soon as you get 6 Inner pieces, and I think that's one of the reasons why I would give it the kind of second, because it's very easy to get Crudest Boots in the cube, 6-piece Inner. It's not going to take you that long to set up. There's an argument that you could even just completely bin off this Samwuku set and not even go and collect it. Just do Legacy of Dreams, Mystic Ally, and then just save up Inner pieces. But obviously that's kind of a matter for you. It might well just be worthwhile going through and getting the Samwuku pieces, because you're at least getting a 4,500% damage modifier. I might do Legacy of Dreams Monk and save my Hadrix for something else. We'll have to kind of see. But yeah, the reason this is in second is because when you do get Inner going, which is very easy, you will just absolutely crush. It's probably the best build next season. So that takes us to first place, which is going to be the Demon Hunter. The Demon Hunter is going to get the Shadow's Mantle. This has just got absolutely bananas 2-piece. You get 6,000% weapon damage when you have a melee weapon equipped. So all you need to do is have a dagger or a mace. You will hit like a truck. I've previously done up to like Torment 10 just using the 2-piece with a little bit of Paragon and a little bit of other supporting items. So it is very strong. The 4-piece again is nice. Shadow Power gains every rune and lasts forever. There's some really cool runes on Shadow Power. So again, like that. 6-piece is actually changing. You get this 75,000 weapon damage to the first enemy hit. And then they are going to actually change this so that you get damage to the next enemies as well. So Shadow is just a really solid start. It's super easy to get Kale's Point to buff up Impale. There's only 2 daggers in the Demon Hunter loot pool. A Holy Point shot you will get with Blood Shards because it's a quiver, which is pretty nice. You don't, there's no damage roll on it, so it's kind of easy to get a decent one. You can take a Raps of Clarity in the cube for level 1 upgrade to make yourself super tanky, and then really you're looking for a Chain of Shadows just to help you move around the map, but you don't need it with Impale. The only thing you need is this set and the dagger, and even the dagger and the 2-piece will absolutely crush. Now, Shadow isn't going to be the meta option for the Demon Hunter. That is going to be the Gears of Dreadlands for basically keys, bounties, and GR speed. And then for pushing, probably going to be Marauders. That looks like it's going to crush. So you've got quite a few options for like really building up your Paragon on the Demon Hunter. And again, from a group point of view, you can also play a ZDPS Demon Hunter and chunk tons of Paragon that way. So all in all, Shadow is just very powerful, super easy to set up. That 6,000% on the 2-piece is so good. And again, with there only being 2 daggers in the pool, it makes it very easy to get a modifier. It's guaranteed for whilst you're leveling. If you want one in the cube, by all means, you can certainly do that. Not really the strongest thing whilst leveling, but again, you know, all the classes now with the cursed chest leveling, you can get there fairly fast. Now, Gears of Dreadlands, again, is not a hard one to set up. You don't really need terribly much. You just need a Siri satchel, which you can plonk in a cube or on your character. You know, a Hunter's Wrath belt, again, is pretty easy to get for your Gears of Dreadlands. And, you know, you just really need the 6 pieces, those 2 things, and you are absolutely flying and away. And it probably is a bit easy to play. Sometimes people struggle with Hatred on Shadow, but, you know, if you're familiar with it at all, it's a wonderful start. And, yeah, going to be the fastest. What am I going to do? I'm probably kind of tempted, I think, to make a monk, actually. I do like doing Legacy of Dreams personally. Every season I kind of can't really be bothered going through and doing the checklist to get everything. I just kind of like getting to 70 and then starting rifting. But that'll depend on whether I play in a group or not. But there's nothing wrong with picking any of these classes, all 7. You know, the game with the soul shards, with the extra buffs that we're getting, will be pretty good. It will be pretty strong. But yeah, I think if you're asking me, I'd say really you want to be picking Demon Hunter, Monk, or Firebird. And I think Monk is probably the short-term worst out of those 3, but long-term best. And then the other 2 are pretty good as well. So that's it, guys. That is the video. Let me know what you're going to roll next season. Is anybody brave enough to make a Necro out the get-go, a Crusader, Barb, or are we just going to, or Witch Doctor, or are we just going to see an absolute shit ton of Demon Hunters and Monks kicking around when we jump into these public bounties, you know, on maybe day 2 when we're all trying to crush T16. Right, that's the video, guys. I hope you found it useful. I'll be back with some more videos soon. Take it easy. Peace.